This story took place in my sophomore year of high school. I was a 15-year-old girl, young for my grade. It was a Wednesday and in the winter. I joined the Honour Society at my school. Besides meeting and talking about how to help my community, we also had to meet at 7:20 AM, which was 25 minutes before school started. Since I wasn't a morning person, missing more time to sleep was always frustrating. That's why I was always late. Which on this day, I was running late. Being 15, I couldn't drive myself to school, so I had to have my grandmother, who lives with my mother and I, take me to school since at this time my mother would be in the bathroom, putting on makeup before work. My grandmother opened the garage with a button on the garage wall. Both my grandma and I got into her car, which was parked in the garage, of course. Once closing the door, she would pull out under the driveway. Now, she looked back towards the front windshield to pull out to the right towards the street, to our cul-de-sac, and I screamed to stop and she quickly slammed on the brakes. There was a man, tall, about 6 foot, dirty blonde-looking hair, wearing all black. He was only illuminated by the headlights, since on winter mornings it was pitch dark, and today it was raining. I noticed something in his hand. Being the observant person I was, I thought I saw a black handle. The man didn't look at us, explain himself, or wave a hand to say sorry. He just stopped in front of the lights for about 3 seconds before continuing to walk through our yard towards a neighbour's house. We watched him disappear into the dark. I live in a neighbourhood where we all know each other and watch out for each other. We all own about 1 acre of yard. Recently my neighbours have been having work done around their houses, with taking down some trees and fixing up their houses. So, my grandmother, with her heart of gold, continued driving as we discussed what had just happened. She assumed that he was just a worker. I knew he wasn't. I told her I thought he had a knife and she brushed it off, saying, maybe it was a worker holding a dustpan or a shovel. He could have just been using our yard dish as a shortcut. But no. Something told me I had to warn my mother. So I began trying to text my mother, but no texts were sending. Nothing was going through. I texted, "Lock the door." But when it went through, she didn't understand. She questioned me saying, "What? Why?" At this point I called her, quickly explaining the situation and yelling at her to bolt the door lock. She did, and not a second later he opened our screen door and tried to open the door handle. When it didn't work, he tried to kick the door down. My mother then called the police. I don't know how quickly the police arrived, but we live in a small town, so I assume the response time was fast. When the police arrived, she told them what happened, and they wrote up a report. Later that morning, the man was found a couple roads down. He tried to get into some other houses too when he ended up getting into a house, and a man had chased him out with a shotgun. He was caught and arrested, found with a large butcher's knife. Although this isn't an extreme story, it all holds a lot of what-ifs. What if I hadn't been late? What if I hadn't gotten a hold of my mum? And the biggest one of all, what if I wasn't late and my grandma would have asked him if he needed help? I'm now a junior in high school, and it's been about a year, but the effects of this encounter still haunt me. I'm afraid to be alone. I will double check or even triple check the locks, and listen intently to the sounds of my house when trying to go to sleep. If I hear something, I'll try to go check it out. He's made me paranoid, but I guess my fears are rational. Who expects their own home to be the site of a creep encounter?